This is my EATTY Situations Run your mouth. EATTY Situations.
Yeah.
But man,
Well, I mean, actually, I like the legend already made.
EATTY Situations
Go into names because this is on film. It's like, oh, you can't make a living in theater. It's like, well, you can. It's just not at. You want to live like this instead of like this and things like that. And so I think there is there's a little bit different sensibility, and I mean even. David Hare is a playwright and screenwriter who's done a lot of things. And I remember seeing him speak years ago in Austin, and he said, I'm tired of Americans complaining that their films never get made. The problem is they all want to get $3 million for their script. He goes, I've written 7 screenplays, 6 of them have been produced, and the 7th one's in development. He goes, the difference is the budget for the British film is $5 million. The budget for the American film is $50 million. He goes, well, you can only make so many of these things. He goes, so it was kind of about the work and the quality of the work. And I think some of that carries over a little bit into the acting as well. And some of the BBC, if you look at BBC, their TV series, a season is 6 episodes, maybe 8 or 10 episodes. Something as popular as Downton Abbey. There's 8 or 10. Something as popular as Sherlock. It's a mini series of 3 different things. U.S. every season is 20 or more episodes. It's a whole different mindset. And in the U.S., you want to get to the point where you have 100 episodes made, because at 100 episodes, you go into syndication, and that's when they actually make money. The TV producers really make their money when it gets into syndication, and that's the big payoff on it. And so it's a different mindset, whereas the Brits, it's like, oh, we're going to do a season, it's 6 shows. And we're going to make enough to make a decent, living, but it's not about the mega stardom, if you will, and stuff like that. And obviously there's exceptions on both sides of these things and stuff like that. You've got some very good U.S. actors who really are concerned with it, and then there's others who have become stars who are still very good actors and film actors, but who won't do theater work or rarely.
But I guess it just benefits more when it's the difference in motivation, I suppose. Yeah,
difference in motivation, and then it gets into the type of work. Because what's interesting is, if you talk to most people who do theater, film, and television, the most satisfying work-wise is theater. Film, it's it's fragment. It's 12, 14-hour days. You're doing a little bit here, a little bit there. It's a whole different. Certain things are the same, but it's a different process versus doing a play where you rarely rehearse much in film at all and stuff. It's much more on your own. Hit your mark, do this, and go. And whereas again, in that journey of taking a character all the way through, and it's a very different thing, because then even we were talking about Al Pacino today and Glengarry Glen Ross. Well, he's doing that. He's going to do it for 12 weeks and stuff. So he's going to be doing 8 shows a week for 12 weeks and doing the same role. It's a different sensibility overall, but most actors say that they find it more gratifying. And then with the film acting, you never as they say, ultimately the director and editor are going to shape your final performance. You don't know what's going to be actually
the final.
I have no idea what the hell you guys are going to put on tape for me, much less like that. Lamar's going to be splicing this up. Who knows what's going to happen?
I always keep everything.
I know. I'm just kidding, man.
I always keep everything. I want to know what you do as a kid. What was so fun to you?
I played sports. I played sports. I have 7 brothers and sisters, and so I've got 3 brothers, 4 sisters. My family was poor, but we grew up in a suburb. So we had indoor and outdoor versions of every sport. So I played baseball indoors and outdoors. I played basketball indoors and outdoors. I played golf indoors and outdoors. So football indoors and outdoors. My brothers and I. So I had an older brother and a younger brother. So and there was enough neighborhood kids. So we played a lot of sports in different ones. And so for me, basketball was ultimately my favorite sport and things like that. But yeah. So and I read a lot. You're going back to the thing is, I realized I read a lot as a kid. That I actually enjoyed reading. So I read a lot as a kid. And the thing you guys don't realize is, cable TV didn't come in until I was nearly a senior in high school. So growing up, you had 3 channels. Fox was a big deal because that was the 4th channel, and then you had PBS. And so
Fox,
this is the thing is, again, it was a whole different world. And I remember it was junior or senior year of high school. One of my good friends, they got cable TV. We didn't have cable TV. We never had cable TV.
So that was like, whoa.
So it's a whole different, in the things, and the internet. Well, that didn't come in until I was in grad school, and so it's a whole different world in terms of you know, your media access and what people do to fill their time.
We take a lot for granted.
You know, it is very different, and again, there's advantages and disadvantages of each. But it realized, so what I did, well, there was no internet to look at. There was only 3 channels to watch on TV, you know, and VCRs didn't come on for a while. So you know, if you wanted to see a show, you made sure you were there to see it, you know, and stuff like that. And so then movies on tape, you know, that again came in probably. Jeez. You know, around high school or so and things like that, you know, starting to watch things on tape, you know, like, oh, you can watch a movie in your home. And so things that, again, you know, we just take for granted now, we're very different. I'm like, shit, I'm not that old, but I guess I am getting old.
I love this because I love making people laugh and I love laughing myself. So what do you personally get out of making others laugh? And is it, I mean, I see you laugh sometimes when you're just...
This is my